Hello, dear friends. Welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Panduranga Darekar. Today, I am going to help you to learn the topic classification of plants. Let's go. You might have learned 5 kingdom classification. This type of classification was proposed by R.H. Whitaker. According to this type of classification, living organisms can be classified as a prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the organisms which lacks distinct nucleus. These organisms also lack membrane-bound cell organelles. Now, on the other hand, eukaryotes, they contain distinct nucleus as well as all the membrane-bound cell organelles are present in eukaryotes. See, all the living organisms under kingdom Monera are prokaryotes as well as they are unicellular. Eukaryotes are further divided into two groups, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular organisms are included in kingdom Protista. This is the second kingdom. Now, multicellular organisms are classified into two groups. These two groups are made on the basis of presence or absence of cell wall. The living organisms which contain cell wall are further classified into two groups, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are having the ability to produce food. Heterotrophs depend on another organisms to fulfill the demand of food. If you look carefully, the animals in kingdom Animalia are without cell wall. They do not contain cell wall in their cellular structures. But the organisms having cell wall include two categories, autotrophs and heterotrophs. All the autotrophs are included in kingdom Plantae and heterotrophs along with cell wall are included in kingdom Fungi. Now, let us see the basis for classification. On what criteria we can classify the plants, let us try to understand. See, the plants can be classified on the basis of presence or absence of organs. Organs like root, stem, leaves, fruits, flowers can be considered. Second criteria is the presence or absence of separate conducting tissue for conduction of water and food. For conduction of water and food, xylem and phloem are required respectively. The third criteria is the presence or absence of seed production. The next criteria, if they produce seeds, then whether the seeds are enclosed in the fruit or not, it is also can be considered for classification. Finally, plants are grouped depending upon the number of cotyledons in the seed. If plant contains the seed with 2 cotyledons, the plant is considered as a dicot plant. If the plant contains seeds with only 1 cotyledon, such plants are considered as monocotyledonous plants. See, at higher levels of plant classification, following characteristics are considered. For classification of plants, cryptogams are the plants which do not produce any type of flowers, fruits and seeds. Cryptogams are further divided into three divisions. Division 1 Thallophyta, Division 2 Bryophyta and Division 3 Pteridophyta. On the other hand, the plants producing flowers, fruits and seeds are considered as phanerogams. Phanerogams are further divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. The group angiosperm is further divided into monocot as well as dicot plant. Monocots are having single cotyledon and dicots are having two cotyledons. Let's start with the first division of cryptogams. Division 1 Thallophyta. Plants under this division mainly grow in water. Some plants are found in fresh water and some are also found in marine water. This group of plants do not have specific parts like root, stem, leaves or flowers. Their body is like a flat thallus. These plants are autotrophic. As they contain chlorophyll, they can produce their own food, hence they are autotrophic. Such autotrophic plants with chlorophyll are considered as algae. Algae have great variety. Algae may be microscopic, that is they can be very small, or some are huge or large also. They may be unicellular or multicellular. As we have discussed, algae have a great variety. Some algae are unicellular but some are multicellular. The plant body is very soft and fiber-like. Let's have some examples. Ulva, Chara and Spirogyra are the examples of Thallophyta. You may see that all the characters which we had discussed are present in these pictures. Shall we move forwards? Let's go to division 2nd, Bryophyta. Plants of Bryophyta can be called as amphibian plants because they grow on land, but water is essential for reproduction. Hence, they are known as amphibian plants. The plant body of this division Bryophyta is also thalloid. That means it is lacking true root, stem or leaves. The plant body is multicellular and it contains chloroplast, so it is autotrophic. Bryophyta are the plants reproducing by spore formation. These plants, as they are not having that much height from the soil, they do not have specific tissue for conduction of food and water. Their height may ranges up to 2 to 3 feet. The special conducting tissue are absent in these types of plants. The plant body of bryophytes is flat, ribbon-like, and it is without the true organs, roots, stem and leaves. But instead of having these true roots, stem and leaves, these plants have stem-like or leaf-like parts. The root-like parts are known as rhizoids. Rhizoids are useful for absorption of water. Let's have some examples. Some Bryophyta plant members are shown here: Finaria, Mercantia and Anthoceros. Let's go to the third division, Pteridophyta. Plants of Pteridophyta are considered as the first successful terrestrial plants, as they fully grow in land. Soil is required, but like Bryophyta, they do not require water for their reproduction. So they had totally adapted for terrestrial life. Hence they are called as the first successful terrestrial plants. These plants have well developed roots, stems and leaves. The height of pteridophytes may range up to 200 to 300 meters. So plants under Pteridophyta, they have a separate conducting tissue. This tissue conducts food as well as water. These plants do not bear flowers and fruits. They reproduce with the help of spores formed along the back or posterior surface of their leaves. On the back side of the leaves, sporangia are present. These sporangia are useful in production of spores. These plants reproduce asexually by spore formation, as we have discussed above, and they also reproduce sexually by zygote formation. Let's see some examples of Pteridophyta. Nephrolepis fern in first picture, then Selaginella and Lycopodium. Apart from these examples, can you find few more examples from internet? Now we are switching to phanerogams. These are the plant members which can produce flowers, fruits and seeds. Under this category phanerogams, two types of plants are observed. That means two groups are observed. The first one is gymnosperms. Let's try to understand its characters. See, the seeds of these plants do not have natural coverings. That is, these plants, they do not form fruits and therefore the seeds are naked. Gymnos means naked, sperm means seeds. As their seeds are naked, as their seeds are not enclosed in the natural covering, these plant members are known as gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are mostly evergreen. These plants have separate tissue for conduction of food and water. As we have discussed earlier also, height of this plant can be very large, and for conduction of water as well as food, these plants require a specialized or separate tissue, xylem and phloem, for conduction of food as well as water. Gymnosperms are perennial, that is, they can live for more than 2 years. The stem of this gymnosperm is woody. Their stem is without branches. And if you see the plant, you may observe that the leaves have formed a crown. These plants bears male and female flowers on different sporophylls, but these different sporophylls might have observed on the same plant. That means the same plant can produce male flowers as well as female flowers. Let's observe some examples. See, cycas as well as the Christmas tree or Christmas plant Pinus. Let's move to the next one. Division 2 under phanerogams is angiosperms. Angios means cover, sperm means seeds. As these plants produce seeds which are enclosed in the fruits. Here, seeds are formed within the fruits. They are covered, hence these plant members are also known as angiosperms. See, the flowers of these plants have specialized for reproduction. So we can say that the flower is the main reproductive organ. The flower contains male as well as female gamete producing parts. Flowers contain androecium and gynoecium. Androecium produces male gamete, that is pollen grain, and gynoecium produces female gamete. These plants also have separate tissue for conduction of food and water. That is, xylem and phloem are present. The flowers develop into fruits and seeds. The gynoecium of flower contains ovary as well as ovules. Ovary is the part which turns into fruit, and ovules of that ovary turns into seeds after fertilization. The angiosperms are divided into two groups. These two groups are made on the basis of number of cotyledons that are present in the seeds. Plants with seeds having only one cotyledon are called as monocotyledonous plants. In short, they are called as monocots. The plants with seeds having two cotyledons are called as dicotyledonous plant, or simply they are called as dicots. Let's try to distinguish them. First of all, let's see the examples. Pomegranate, chiku are the examples of angiosperms. You might have tasted these fruits. Where the seeds are present? Seeds are present inside the fruit. That's why these two are the members of angiosperms. Now, let us try to distinguish between monocots and dicots. Carefully observe the following table. Monocots have single cotyledon and dicots have two cotyledons. Monocots have fibrous root systems and dicots have taproot system. In taproot, primary root is present that divides into secondary and tertiary roots. Stem of monocot can be hollow, it may be false, or it may be disc shaped. But in case of dicots, stem is strong as well as hard. In leaves of monocots, parallel venation is seen. But in the leaves of dicot plants, reticulate venation is present. That means after observing the venation in leaves also, we can identify whether the plant is monocot or dicot. If you observe flowers, the flowers of monocots are with 3 or in the multiples of 3. Either 3 or in multiples of 3 means 6 or 9 parts are present. But in case of dicot plants, flowers are with 4 or 5 parts or in their multiples. If you carefully observed, by using this criteria, we can easily identify whether the plant is monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous plant. Observe the examples of some monocot plants with their seeds. Examples are maize and jawar. These are monocots as the single cotyledon is present. Here are some dicot members, green peas, chana as well as groundnuts. Apart from these, you can also find many examples in your textbook as well as on internet if you surf. Here the chapter ends. Have you understood it? If you liked this video, please like it, share it, and do not forget to subscribe it. Visit Tarangan to learn science easily. Goodbye.